Hi, I'm Michael Beardsley, and welcome to another episode of An Actor Reacts. This is the show where I watch a TV episode and then I react to the scenes that involve acting or filmmaking or whatever other crap I want to talk about. Today we'll be watching an episode of American Horror Stories. Not to be confused with American Horror Story, this is American Horror Stories that aired on Hulu as a companion piece. We are going to be looking at the 6th episode of the series, which is called Ball. Now, the story does not focus around acting or filmmaking, but I wanted to do it because when I originally saw this episode, there were some things in it that I was just like, that is not realistic. So that's why I wanted to cover it. As always, spoiler alert, I will be giving away one of the major plot twists. There are at least 3 of them, and I will only give away one, but still, spoiler alert. So, let's get started. The story is about a woman named Liv, played by Billie Lourd, who is trying to get pregnant, and it's just not working for her, despite going to countless fertility doctors.
I'm saying we're at a point where we should consider some other options.
You mean adoption?
As it happens, her husband is a low-level actor.
I want to feel our baby growing inside me.
So that's where I come in. At some point, she turns to the supernatural.
It's a fertility totem. It's very old. You place it under your bed during intimacy, and as strange as it may sound, you get a baby.
And that brings us to the first scene that I have something to say about.
Finally got an audition. First one in 2 weeks. And my character actually has a name. It's not drunk guy or second police officer.
I love you even if you're third police officer.
This one I love because that's totally true. When you're auditioning for a little role, they usually don't have character names. Here is the last several TV shows I've auditioned for and what the characters were called. Cop. See, I auditioned for a cop too. Four-person. Phil. See, that one I had a character name. Dad. Customer. Grinning clown. White man. I'm really good at playing a white man. Technicians 1 and 2. I auditioned for both of them. Caller number 1. Tourist. Producer and focus group member. Another twofer. Engineer number 2. Johnny. Another one that actually had a character name. Patron. Gun dad. Cow boss. Though I will say that that character was actually named Brooks Hodges, even though it said cow boss on the breakdown.
Before you know it, you won't have to read for anyone. It's gonna happen for you, babe.
Better, people are gonna think I married you for your money.
Unless you're A-list, you pretty much are still going to have to audition for people. He, at this point, is D-list at best. Jumping ahead a bit, she does get pregnant, she does give birth, and then she kind of has to deal with some postpartum depression.
When is Mr. Matt coming home?
I don't know. He's shooting tonight. NCIS.
Oh, that's my mother's favorite show.
NCIS is actually filmed in Los Angeles, even though it takes place in Washington, D.C.
Sorry. I was being quiet in case he was sleeping.
What the hell, Matt? Are you trying to kill me?
They asked me to keep it on because it takes forever to apply, and I got to report back to set in 2 hours to do the big corner scene.
No. That's not how it works. They're not going to let you leave set with your makeup on. If it's a huge emergency, okay. Example, the Northridge earthquake happened. On Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Andrew Robinson and Armin Shimmerman actually left set to go home and check on their loved ones, presumably, with their Star Trek makeup on. In that case, they weren't expected to return to the set. They would have presumably pulled it off on their own. They just didn't want to take the time to remove all the pieces. Also, why would they be shooting the big corner scene at night? Sure, movies and TV shows do film at night, but not unless they have to. This is a clip from NCIS, and I will bet you it wasn't filmed at night.
So why'd you come all the way home?
Well, Norma called me, and she wanted me to check in on you.
That woman. If she's not barking orders at me, she's spying on me.
Yeah, Norma calling him and asking him to check in on her is not going to be a good enough excuse for the production team to let somebody leave the set, with or without makeup. especially because it seems like he's an extra whose face you can't even see. No, they're not going to bend over backwards for an extra.
Look, she's worried about you, and so am I.
If you were so worried, you wouldn't disappear all night just to put a corpse on a table.
It's a little harsh.
She just confirmed it. He's just an extra. An extra who is playing a dead body on a table. That is actually a real thing. But yeah, you're not going to be able to leave set if you're an extra. You're just not. I've been on the set for a full day back when I did extra work. They didn't use us once. They will keep you till the bitter end until they have to pay you more. I also want to point out that that makeup does not look like a dead body. That looks like some sort of weird monster like from Supernatural. It actually looks a lot like the creatures that they were shooting with when I was on the set of Angel. They actually weren't in my episode. The episodes overlapped a bit. I was in the episode before as an extra.
Where do I want to be hated? You wouldn't get it. You're passing. My mother was the same way.
I'm in it for like 1 second in the background.
You want to talk about whiplash? I'll tell you about whiplash. I've got emotional whiplash from having to deal with people like you day in and day out.
Aren't you supposed to leave that on?
It's super uncomfortable.
Look at that! It just peeled right off. No glue left over. That is not a hard makeup to apply. That would take like 5 minutes.
It takes forever to apply.
This is my before and after makeup on Dracula's sorority sisters. They removed the stuff that was actually stuck to my face on set, and then I just went home and showered. It was just easier. Didn't peel off quite as easy as his.
Look, babe, I know the timing's not great, all right? But it's network, and it could lead to other things.
No, it can't. Playing a body on a table cannot lead to other things, except for maybe playing more bodies on tables. Come on. Oh my God, that guy laid on the table so well that we need to give him a speaking role. Oh yeah, and the way he left set and peeled his makeup off and made us put it back on, which took forever.
It takes forever to apply.
Oh yeah, we need to put him in a starring role.
And I don't want to be that guy, the one that lives off his wife's money.
I wouldn't mind being that guy who lives off his wife's money.
Hey.
Listen.
I don't hear anything.
Exactly.
That's great, huh? But I gotta run. I want to get some coffee for my audition.
I already made you one.
Ha, this is pre-COVID. Now most likely he would just have to record his own audition and send it to him. Especially for little roles.
Liv, NCIS wants me back, okay? There's this flashback episode for my character.
Yeah, we want that guy who's laying on the table, we want to give him a flashback so we can see when he was alive. Yeah, you know, the guy that went home and pulled his makeup off and made us take forever to put it back on? Yeah, that guy, we want him back.
You know, an actual part, not just a stand-in with lines.
A stand-in with lines. A stand-in is somebody who is the same height and skin tone as an actor who stands there so they can focus the lights and the cameras on them. And then they step off and the actor steps in. They are not on camera. A stand-in with lines? What is that? That makes no sense. An extra, on the other hand, is someone who has no lines but is on camera. So maybe what he meant to say was an extra with lines. That happens, but as soon as that happens, you're no longer an extra. Here's an example of an extra that spoke and then was no longer an extra.
Can you help us?
Please, we're looking for the naval base in Alameda. Could you tell me where the nuclear vessels are?
Ooh, I don't know if I know the answer to that. I think it's across the bay, in Alameda.
That's what I said, Alameda.
And I'll be in scenes with real actors.
That's great, honey.
Yeah, but we're shooting nights.
Pretty sure you were probably in scenes with real actors before. You're just laying still on the table while they act around you.
It's Matt, the first one of us to make it.
Hey.
Proud of you, buddy.
The first one of us to make it. Yeah, 7 lines in an episode of a TV show is not making it. That is a day player. A day player is someone who is just there for the day. They can be there for more than one day, but they're not a guest star. they can have anywhere from 1 to several lines. Definitely not a stand-in with lines. That makes no sense. I have a lot of friends who have been in TV shows. Mayans MC, This Is Us, Perry Mason, Jane the Virgin. A friend of mine was actually a reoccurring character on that. New Girl, Lucifer, Liza on Demand. I know that's not really a big show, but I mentioned it earlier, so I thought I'd throw it in again. Shameless, The Walking Dead, Parks and Recreation. And I'm sure there's others I'm not thinking of right now. I am not going to go up to them and say like, hey man, you've made it. You know why? Because they still have to grind to get cast in other roles. It's not easy, and you still have no idea who they are, and more likely than not would not recognize their faces.
All right, that's like the 9th toast. I think you're just using me as an excuse to drink.
Just kissing your butt, man. So you don't forget about your old college buddies from the film department. Just remember, the world needs tall, geek character actors.
And great set decks.
Or editors/sound designers with their own equipment.
All right, I think you guys are getting carried away. It's only 7 lines.
I don't really understand why they're listing their resumes here. I mean, I kind of do. It's exposition. You'll see later. No one's asking him for editors or other actors. They want him to show up, say his lines, and be done.
Best damn production I've ever been a part of. You all brought your A game. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers. If it were a series, it'd run for 8 seasons. Gaslighters. Every week we drive a new person crazy.
So here's the spoiler I warned you about. It turns out it was all a con. They're gaslighting her. They're trying to make her go crazy so he can take her money. And they're using all the skills that they listed so conveniently in that other scene. This actually brings up an interesting question. Was that mask that he had on actually from a show? Or did he just buy it at some cheap store, put it on, and then come home to try to scare her?
It takes forever to apply. And
he was just using that as an excuse to be gone at night so she'd get all scared. He was probably never on NCIS. It was probably complete BS. That party to celebrate it was probably complete BS just so they could use the Ouija board, which I didn't show, but they did. It could be that all the mistakes I've listed in this video are actually not mistakes the show made, but mistakes the character made. Ah.
Now that we've aired, when do we see residuals? I joined the show for the back end.
well, legal stuff's gonna take a few months.
Dude.
But hey, listen. When all this is mine, we are gonna be set for life.
Residuals are a payment that the actor gets after the initial run of a show. It diminishes more and more the more the show runs. It's negotiated through the union, so it's only for union projects. And that's about all I'm going to say about this episode. There are actually 2 more major plot twists that happen after the last scene that I've shown you. It is called American Horror Stories, so there is some horror elements in it. Now it's time for the recap. On the good side, low-level actors do audition for a lot of characters that don't have names. NCIS is actually filmed in Los Angeles. They do have people play dead bodies with makeup on. Everything I'm about to list on the bad side could actually be an in-story deception. On the bad side, they are not going to let an extra leave the set, period, much less in makeup. They're not going to see somebody playing a body on the table and give him a flashback episode. 7 lines is not making it. A stand-in with lines is not a thing. And for the ugly.
They asked me to keep it on because it takes forever to apply and...
Your butt, man.
So that just about does it for this week. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, watch my other videos, give me some thumbs up. Comments are always welcome. Hopefully this video looks a little bit better than my previous videos. I'm trying a bit of new technology here. I thought my other videos looked fine on my computer, but when I watched them on my TV, the color of my face was really kind of bad. So we're trying out something new. If this looks good, I'll use this next time too. So, until next time.